Welcome to the Butterfly Effect, Stage 5 of the Giro, and today was a great day for Filippo Ganna, who was in the break all day long. He won our Stage 1 time trial here at the Giro. I thought when the climb started, with so many miles in the legs and such a big climb, it was hard to believe that he even tried to ride up the last climb. In my mind, I saw him setting the tempo for his teammate that was also in the break. Ineos had two guys there. When I saw Filippo ride in at the beginning of the climb, I thought, great, he's selling out for his teammate. He's going to get him as much time as he possibly can, and then he'll sit up and save the legs for another stage, or possibly the last two time trials at this year's Giro. But that's why you race, and that's why the directors are always yelling at you to try, because sometimes it works out, folks. To my disbelief, I was sitting on the couch watching today's race at 6 a.m. and I just could not even imagine why he's still trying. He puts on a fabulous show, stays steady, goes after all of the attacks, but just steady and smooth. Finally rides away from everyone, goes over the top solo with a 50-second to a minute lead, and you're never going to catch a time trial specialist when it's all downhill to the finish at that point in time. He did take some risk on the descents, but nothing that looked crazy. He was well under control. Power in the legs was still there. The stage was massive at 225K long, the first stage of this year's Giro of that length, and with so many mountains and a climb so difficult at the finish, you just couldn't imagine that it would be Filippo winning the stage. Hats off, it was a great stage. Now what I would really like to talk about on today's Butterfly Effect, because these tactics are going to affect everything that you see in the future of this Giro. I got to bring up Jumbo-Visma and Astana both jumping on the front randomly at different times during the race before the action had even began, and looking like they're going to spring the hidden attack or something and start driving the pace to bring the break back just to shut it down 1, 2, 3K later. I've never understood it. In my 25 years as a professional rider, I've never understood why a team decides to go to the front, start driving really hard, and then 1 to 5K later just hop off the front. That's it, we're done. We just wanted to stretch our legs up there. It always actually pissed me off because it was coming at a point in time when I thought the race would not be turned on yet, so I was probably enjoying a Coke, maybe a Snickers, and then you see Jumbo-Visma jump on the front, so for sure I would have tossed my Coke and Snickers, jumped on the pedals, got myself to the front, only for a few K later to have the whole racing stop again and wonder what happened to my Coca-Cola. So I've never understood that strategy. It's never made sense to me. I saw it happen twice today, about the middle, just past the middle way of the stage with Astana and with Jumbo-Visma. I'm dumbfounded on how it happened. But what I really want to argue about is Trek Segafredo. That team, as we start the climb, we're getting about a third of the way up the climb, and then Trek Segafredo jumps on the front. There is no reason for this tactic. It's absolutely stupid. Okay, there's zero reason. I got to have my list here so I can read off the team, because a couple of guys I'm not even familiar with by name. So you have Vincenzo Nibali, my favorite at this year's Giro. He's riding fantastic. There's no doubt about it. So you could say, hey, Chris, he just wants to blow the race up. You can't blow the race up with this particular team on a 5 to 6% climb like we were experiencing on today's stage 5, the finishing climb, okay? They come into the race with 8. They've already lost Peter Weening because he hit a bottle and possibly is a little dizzy in the head, so maybe he has a concussion. So now you're down to 7. You have Antonio Nibali, who's not a climber, so he's not going to be there in the later mountain stages when you need him. No reason. He's not going to be able to do anything to push the pace. Julian Bernard, they're all good riders on the team, but none of these are top paid. This is not Ineos here where they're all paid $1 million and they're super domestiques. So you have to use this team carefully, okay? So Julian Bernard, he's not going to be there. Gianluca Brambilla, fabulous rider. He could be there to split the group on the later stages when you have a summit finish and you're going up a 7, 8, 9% climb. But on a 5 and 6% climb, What can Gianluca Brambilla do? Nothing. That's why they finished with 30 guys today. So when you're riding a rider, that's probably their super domestique for this year's Giro for Vincenzo Nibali is Gianluca Brambilla. So every time you run Gianluca Brambilla at some point in time, which doesn't devastate the favorites and allow a launching pad for Vincenzo Nibali, it's a worthless move. All you're doing is using up his energy at a later stage that you might really, really need him. Okay, we'll go down the list again. Giulio Ciacconi, fabulous rider, won stages of the Tour de France, wore the Mountains jersey in the Giro before, but he's coming from a COVID lockdown. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. He lost a lot of training, so he's behind on his training, and he's not 100% form. That would have been Vincenzo's number 2 super domestique, but Trek doesn't have any super domestiques because we already talked about that. They got 2 really good riders, Gianluca Brambilla and Ciacconi. Those are good riders, but not super domestiques, okay? That's not Michael Kwiatkowski on the back there that's going to save you if something happens at a crucial moment on one of these summit climbs. Go down to the number 6 or 7 on the list. It's Nicola Conte. Okay, never heard of the guy, and I've been in the business a long time. I'm sure he's a good rider. He's riding for a Pro Tour team, so he has to have some results out there. But can you expect Nicola here to be there when you've passed 3, 4, 5 climbs and you're 2 weeks into this Giro and still be there with Nibali when he needs him? Probably not. So why are you riding the team on the front today? I'll go down to the last rider here that I haven't mentioned, Jacopo Mosca. Okay, same thing. What can you expect out of this rider? At this point in time, Trek cannot even expect massive results or massive super domestique rides out of this particular rider. Trek at this moment on the list, if somebody doesn't really shine, Gianluca Brambilla, number 1 domestique for Vincenzo Nibali, and Ciacconi. Now, how many of the Trek Segafredo guys went over this climb today so that they could look after Vincenzo if he crashes or slips or has a mechanical on the wet, foggy descent? Highly possible. I know this is after the show, so a lot of the viewers will say, Chris, it didn't happen. It's Nibali. He's daredevil down the descent. He's amazing. Like, it's not going to happen. It can happen to anyone at any moment in a bike race. A flat tire and your Giro hopes are over. If you're in a group of 30 guys like that, with so many Jumbo-Visma guys, already a couple of the Astana guys, some Sunweb guys, if Nibali flats, just flats, at that moment after the summit, those teams are going to go to the front and drive it as hard as he can, and he's going to be chasing a 9-man, well-drilled team up front because the Sunweb riders, the Jumbo-Visma riders, and the Astana riders are going to be one solid team all the way to the line. So what did Trek Segafredo really do? Absolutely nothing, okay? When Nibali is dropping down the descent, he is a very good descender. I've been on his wheel many times, folks, but I'm almost 42 at this point in time. In the Vuelta, when I won against Vincenzo Nibali, he was trying to drop me on every descent possible, and he never managed to do it, and I was almost 42 years of age. Is he good? Yes. Was I scared? Absolutely. It was some of the funnest times going down the descent, just trying to stay on his wheel. But did he drop me? No. And did he drop any of the other favorites? No. So that risk, again, just is not there. If Vincenzo Nibali gets a gap somehow going up one of these climbs later in the Giro and then does that crazy descending skills that he can employ, it will work at that moment. But his skills descending are not good enough to just drop 30 guys. Will he dump off a 5 or 6 or cut the group in half? Possibly, but who cares because the favorites are still with him. So he's taking a risk, using energy. He rode halfway down that descent, pedaling as hard as he can, sprinting out of every corner, just making the legs feel terrible on the longest stage that we've had at this Giro. So his tactic was stupid. The Trek tactic that they employed all the way from the bottom of the last climb up the climb just to drop all of their teammates, leave them isolated, make them more fatigued for later on in the Giro when you really only have one domestique Gianluca Brambilla, that's your only real domestique and you want to kill the whole team off on stage 5 of the Giro. Not a very good tactic. That's my butterfly effect take on today's stage 5 of the Giro. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys real soon.